The heart of Beirut was shaken on date of the airstrike. A deafening explosion ripped through a residential neighborhood, leaving behind a scene of devastation and chaos. The blast, an Israeli airstrike, targeted a Hezbollah commander. Smoke billowed as first responders rushed to pull survivors from the rubble. The attack sent shockwaves through Lebanon, already in turmoil. Ibrahim Akil, a seasoned Hezbollah commander, was reportedly killed. His death is a significant blow to Hezbollah, showing Israel's reach. The strike marks a significant escalation in the Israel-Hezbollah conflict. The bold strike in a populated area has sparked outrage and condemnation. Hezbollah, the Iran-backed Shiite militant group, wasted no time in responding to the Israeli airstrike. In a fiery statement released shortly after the blast, the group vowed swift and severe retaliation for the killing of its commander. Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, known for his defiant rhetoric, promised a calculated and forceful response, declaring that Israel would pay a heavy price for its aggression. The group wasted no time in making good on its promise. Hours after the Beirut airstrike, rockets rained down on northern Israel. While Israel's Iron Dome defense system intercepted a majority of the projectiles, the attack served as a clear message. Hezbollah, despite suffering a significant loss, remained defiant and capable of striking back. The rocket fire into Israel triggered air raid sirens and sent residents scrambling for shelter. While there were no immediate reports of casualties, the attack heightened anxieties in the region. It underscored the precarious balance of power and the potential for a rapid escalation into a full-blown conflict. Israel defended its actions in Beirut. Prime Minister Naftali Bennett stated the airstrike was a preemptive measure against an imminent Hezbollah attack. He emphasized Israel's commitment to protecting its citizens. Military officials claimed Ibrahim Akil was planning a large-scale attack. They alleged Akil was coordinating efforts to infiltrate Israeli territory. The strike was necessary to neutralize an immediate threat. Israel pointed to Hezbollah's growing arsenal and ties to Iran. They argued Hezbollah, supported by Iran, posed a serious threat. The airstrike was a message that Israel would not tolerate aggression. Section 4. The world reacts. Condemnation and calls for restraint. The international community reacted to the Israeli airstrike in Beirut with condemnation and calls for restraint. The UN convened an emergency meeting to address the escalating situation. UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres urged all parties to exercise maximum restraint. The US supported Israel's right to defend itself but urged de-escalation. The EU condemned the airstrike and called for an immediate cessation of hostilities. Russia called for dialogue and a peaceful resolution. The airstrike has drawn attention to Lebanon's plight, exacerbating tensions and fears of instability. Section 5. The human cost of conflict. Beirut in mourning. The aftermath of the Israeli airstrike in Beirut painted a grim picture of the human cost of conflict. The blast left behind a trail of destruction, reducing buildings to rubble and leaving many families homeless. Rescue workers toiled tirelessly, searching for survivors trapped beneath the debris, their efforts hampered by the scale of the devastation. Hospitals, already overwhelmed by the COVID-19 pandemic and an economic crisis, struggled to cope with the influx of casualties. Doctors and nurses worked around the clock, treating the wounded, their faces etched with exhaustion and sorrow. The scent of smoke and the sound of sirens filled the air, a constant reminder of the tragedy that had befallen the city. The attack left a deep scar on the psyche of Beirut's residents. The trauma of the explosion, the loss of loved ones, and the uncertainty of the future weighed heavily on their minds. The streets, once bustling with life, were now eerily quiet, the silence broken only by the sound of mourning. Section 6. The broader picture. A region on edge. The Israeli airstrike in Beirut and Hezbollah's subsequent retaliation serve as a stark reminder of the volatile situation in the Middle East. The region, already grappling with multiple conflicts and political instability, is teetering on the brink of a wider conflagration. The events in Beirut highlight the precarious balance of power and the potential for a rapid escalation of violence. The involvement of regional and global powers further complicates the situation. Iran's support for Hezbollah and its regional ambitions have long been a source of tension with Israel and its allies. The United States' unwavering support for Israel adds another layer of complexity to the conflict. The international community faces the daunting task of mediating between the warring parties and preventing a full-blown conflict. Diplomatic efforts are underway, but the path to peace remains elusive. The situation in Beirut underscores the urgent need for a negotiated settlement that addresses the root causes of the conflict and ensures lasting peace and stability in the region.